I'll hit record. Sam, David, happy to have you. How these formats go is we do a workshopping environment. We break down winning ads, winning offers, and we look for frameworks within these ads, offers, and funnels, etc., so that everybody can replicate it in-house, out-of-house, in agency, whatever that is. And then using those frameworks in masterclass, either in the done with you capacity, or if you're doing everything on your own, so that you can implement all this into your day-to-day. So today, we're rolling in a new format with doing this with offers and funnels. We've always historically done it with ads specifically. This will be pretty fun. I'm actually really looking forward to this. This is a format that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Overall, the goal is obviously, Sam, welcome. Overall, the goal is,
hey guys.
What's up, man? Overall, the goal is for us to be able to start to see these frameworks so that we can repeat them in our own businesses. We can repeat them with ads and funnels that we're running for clients, and just honestly increase our win percentages when we're testing ads, testing offers, testing funnels, etc. And we do less of what doesn't work. We do more of what does. So I'm pretty pumped for this one. I decided to roll in an offer with Hirose first that probably the majority of you guys have seen the ads on. Andrea might not see the ads as much as some of the others, but I think you'll appreciate it from a messaging perspective. So pretty pumped on this one. Wanted to start with something that everybody was probably pretty familiar with and then deconstruct it together. So just like always, going to call on you guys either through chat or if you want to unmute to share what you see. I'm a big believer that if we can continue to train the eye on seeing what is successful, we can replicate it, you know, with our own ads, with our own funnels, with our own ad accounts, all that good stuff. So, all right, sweet. I'm going to flip over. Any questions before we get started? If you want to drop them in the chat or unmute, go for it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get started. Sam, good to see your face. I actually just flipped through my little Zoom thing there. Good to see you, man.
Happy to be here, my man.
Awesome. All right, sweet. So screen share. Let's make sure I don't mess this up. All right, cool. Paul, is that coming through on your end? Looks good. All right, sweet. So what I want to do first is we'll look at the ads first, just so that we can get some context for like what is Hirose saying on the front end. Then I want to break down the offer and the funnel specifically together so we can see and call out together what's working with this funnel. I would imagine that most of you have probably seen these ads. For those of you who can't read it because it might be a little tiny, and I'll open this up and then we'll play the video. Our tracking plus AI factually improves ad ROI by a lot, verified plus by 1,000+ businesses. That's the initial ad hook to the ad copy. Headline reads, Hirose AI scales your ads or it's free, book a demo. So let's watch this video together. And then I have another one pulled up here as well so that we can have a look at that. Actually, can you hear it? Because I have my headphones in. All right, one second.
Further and get you customers as much as 52% cheaper. I guarantee it. No, literally guarantee. This is called Hyros, and if it doesn't get you those results, you don't pay for it. And that's why big brands like ClickFunnels.com, Tom Bilyeu's ImpactTheory.com, Pink Graziosi and Tony Robbins Mastermind.com, 6, 7, 8, and 9-figure e-commerce brands like LadyBoss.com, massive influencers with millions of followers, sales and ads leaders like Dan Henry, and even one of the highest revenue ClickFunnels funnels of all time, Alex Morzi's GymLaunch.com, they all use this too. And so do hundreds of other businesses. And frankly, if you're not using it too, you're at a massive disadvantage because frankly, you're paying way too much to get a customer, because when you use print tracking plus AI optimization, you pay much less. You can scale much further. You get customers cheaper. You can bid more competitively. And if you click this ad, I'll explain in extreme detail how it all works. And we will even set this up for you. And we will also guarantee the results I've talked about. If you run ads, this AI tracking script.
All right, now we're not going to do like normal format where we break down the ads, but I want to give you guys context of the offer through the ads, and then we'll break down the offer in the funnel specifically. So let's watch this one as well.
We're in ads. This tracking script will increase your ad ROI by 20 to 30%. I literally guarantee it, or I will give you thousands of dollars worth of product for free. Well, not exactly this. This is not the tracking script, but if you sell products like this, or maybe even Pikachu onesies, Hyros will increase your ad ROI by 20% or more, or you don't pay for it. That's why thousands of businesses, 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure businesses use Hyros, because we deliver that so much, we can actually guarantee it. That's why big brands like ClickFunnels, Frank Kern, Tom Bilyeu's Impact Theory, Dan Henry, Lady Boss, one of the largest e-com agencies in the world, Shopanova, large SaaS companies like Samcar, Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's Mastermind.com. Or heck, what about just results? Here's the e-com store increased their sales by 71% their first month using Hyros. Here's another one that doubled their business. They all use Hyros, and if you want to too, just click this ad. We'll plug you in, and we literally guarantee you're going to see increase in ad ROI, or you don't pay for it. The reason we can do that is because when a store uses print tracking plus our AI optimization, they get way better ad data. AKA, you catch way more and see way more sales than ad platform tracking alone. This lets you make better ad buying decisions that saves you money and also makes you much more money. And then we pass that data back to ad platform AI so they get better at finding your customers cheaper. You combine it all together, you consistently have a higher ad ROI, which is exactly what we guarantee, or you don't pay for it. Click this ad. We can show you exactly how it works, walk you through the entire software. We can have you plugged in this afternoon. And just like all those other brands, you can be working with accurate data that grows your ad ROI, saves you a ton of money, and makes your AI on ad platforms much better at finding you customers. All you have to do.
All right, I think you guys get the initial idea there. Gonna turn it over to you guys real quick. What are a couple things that you noticed or that caught your attention? Either feel free to unmute or fire it over in the chat. Like, what caught your attention? I'll read Andrea's while you guys are chiming in there. So Andrea mentioned, does speak clearly. The guy looks hard to sell, doesn't pronounce some of the names of the big names properly. I'm actually surprised that this is successful in my opinion. Extremely successful. Actually, this is a multi-million-dollar a month business right here. So AI Hirose does incredibly well. What else do you guys see? Like what stands out to you initially about this offer? Let's look at
Social
it.
proof.
Social proof.
You got tons of social proof with big names that'll be recognizable to his target market.
Yep,
So it's
totally.
like if these guys are using it, imagine what it could do for you.
Yep, absolutely. What about new guys? David, Sam, what do you see from the perspective of the offer?
Just having a guaranteed result, and then having that like really direct hook at the beginning.
Totally. So what was the direct hook in your mind?
I get just like a specific quantifiable result. 52%, I think it was. I can't see, but it was something like very specific.
Yep. David, any thoughts from you? Is guarantee locked in the offer in a sense that said you have nothing to lose? Absolutely. So the reason that I sort of want to get you guys engaged in this format as well is like, how can we start to see it? So when we're doing our ad research, right, or whether we're doing competitive research, maybe we're getting ready to launch a new offer for a client or in-house, like where do we start? How do we start with the messaging that will better our chances of success, which means scaling, right? The last thing we want to do, of course, is always be stuck in testing mode, right? We don't want to, we don't want to just either if we're internal going to our team and saying, hey, we're testing, like, and that's the only thing that we can sell back to the team is that we're testing. The only reason that we would have to test too much and not scale is by literally just like throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But a lot of you guys know that my big thing that we teach and we talk a lot about is frameworks so that we can increase our chances of probability into success, right? And so I want to train our eye together to see these things so that the next time we go to write some ad copy, the next time that we go to create an offer, the next time that we go to advise internally or externally, we're operating from a point of, just simplified framework and not considering all of the other possibilities that we could be considering. So cool. Let's actually, hold Hold on one sec. Someone else is jumping on. Okay, got it. Let's just have a quick look. Actually, let's do it from the actual, I've got this pulled up on this page as well. So let's just look at it this way. What I did was I just took a screenshot. On the right-hand side, this is like the actual hero of the landing page. And so the headline reads, Hyros tracking and AI grows ad profits by 27% on average. Verified and proven across 2,000 businesses. You know, we've got the credibility here of Tony Robbins, call to action of get started. So what I want to do is I want us to almost journal specifically, like, what is the offer? What is the core sales message? What is the level of awareness that this offer targets? That whether this is a direct or indirect hook, and the type of hooks and headlines that are being used and the type of funnel that is being used. So who wants to chime in? And you can kind of still see this down in the screenshot. And if you want me to jump back to the lander or to the ads, like by all means, I want to get you guys engaged as well into like, what do you think is the offer? And I'll give you a little bit of context and I would love to hear your responses. You're probably all going to have slightly different answers. And that's okay because the offer can be positioned as a message in addition to just the actual physical offer. So who wants to go first? How about Paul? Like, tee us up here. Like, what in your mind is the offer specifically? Like, to you, what is the offer?
That's a good question. I'm looking at it and trying to separate like some of the key benefits with the actual offer. I think the offer is get the scripts or you don't pay if I'm looking at it like the most simple version, or adding a little more layer to it, increase your ad profitability with the scripts or you don't pay.
Yeah. Who else wants to jump in there? What do you guys think the offer is in this case? Like, what is the offer? I'm gonna call on somebody.
I think maybe like ad profits by XYZ percentage is kind of like what I'm seeing.
This is David, right?
Sam.
Sam, okay, my bad. I thought I saw David unmuted as well. Okay, say that again, Sam.
Ad profit increase by XYZ percent, because at one point I think he has 52 and another one he has 27 maybe.
Yeah, by X%. What up, Joe?
What's up? What's up, guys? Late as usual. My earlier call always goes long.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
So we're breaking down into framework, like why the Hyros offer is such a high converting offer. So Sam, I like that. Ad profit increase by X%. Actually, I'll put by X%. What else stands out to you guys? Anything from Charles, Mehdi, Andrea? What do you guys think the offer is here?
The offer is kind of Becker. Like, everyone knows who he is. It's hard to imitate that. It's hard for like Northbeam to run an ad against that.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle as well. Interesting perspective. This is what I was hoping for, is that everybody would have sort of a different take on what they thought the offer was. What about in a more literal sense? Who wants to chime in from that perspective? Like, what is the actual literal offer? I'll help tee you up here. Sometimes the word like offer is interchangeable with product, right? So a lot of you guys have actually touched on it from the messaging perspective, which I was hoping for. And then also, what is the actual literal offer?
Well, in my mind, it is the actual literal offer is AI software that will help you increase your revenue by 20 to 30%.
Yep, 100%. So I'm totally in agreement here. AI print tracking, right? Like the actual offer is AI print tracking. I think, I mean, as you guys probably know, like I'm literally consuming offers and ads like nonstop, like 24/7. I literally, any new ad that I see, I have a whole collection in Instagram where I just save them, save them, save them. Some of which I come back to, some of which I don't. But what I find, Sam, great insight there as well, like you nailed it, is like I find that the best offers have this like intersection between like the literal nature of what the product is, and I can understand it really quickly, AI print tracking, and also this messaging component. You could call it a benefit to keep it simple, where like it's this two-pronged approach into what the irresistible offer is. So there's almost these two parts. There's the literal physical component of the offer, AI print tracking, plus the compelling sales message angle, increase ad ROI or you don't pay, equals irresistible offer, right? So simple offer plus compelling sales message equals irresistible offer. So that's why I wanted to call that out, because you guys each had a different take on it. So the next time that we go create an offer, for example, Joe, your air purifier, product, right? How do we take compelling sales message plus literal offer to equal, simple offer of product to equal, irresistible offer? So good insights on that. In your
One
guys,
thing he did say, that I just
okay.
realized the speed, because we might be thinking the same like equation. He said a couple of times, or maybe in the second video, we'll get you set up this afternoon. So that's part of the offer of the speed to getting your desired result, or how difficult is this for me to get started? Kind of addresses that in the, hey, we'll get you started this afternoon with this. Oh, and you don't pay for it if it doesn't work, I think.
Well, which is actually a great transition into the core sales message, right? Because what you hit on right there was the emotional trigger of implied fast result, right? So there's really 5 emotional triggers that the core sales message can hit on, typically: fast, easy, safe. I kind of lump these together personally: biggest, most, best. I typically like to lump those together. So you hit on that right there, fast. So get set up fast results. I can fix it fast. I can fix my tracking fast. I can fix my results fast. So in your guys' view, what is the core sales message? What is the promise that is essentially being, I just tipped my hand a little bit. What is the core sales message that is being made here with Hirose specifically around this offer?
Scale your ads, make more money.
Scale your ads, make more money. Like it. What else?
Get better data, make more money.
Get better data, make more money.
Borrow from Joe here.
Make more money. Make more money at the end.
Yep.
Make more money, make more money.
Yeah, make more money.
Yep. Either Sam or Charles or Mehdi, what do you guys think? What resonates with you here, or what the core sales message is?
I mean, it sounds like he's selling the same thing everyone else saying. Like,
Which is what?
your ads will be better, therefore you'll get more money if you use our tool.
Why do you think it works in this context and maybe you get turned off in other contexts? If it seems like he's saying something that everyone else is saying, why is it working here and maybe it doesn't in other situations?
I mean, he's got a USP, right? Like a unique selling proposition that's different, and he holds a little stupid thumb drive up and all that in some of these. So he makes it sound like, yeah, not only is he selling you an opportunity to get more money, but he's saying how through something that appears, it's not, but appears to be novel and unique, is what I think it is.
So it's the unique mechanism.
Yep.
So what's the unique mechanism?
It's tangible. It's the USB with a guarantee.
Right. And what is it in this case in particular, David?
Well, it's just is AI is on the USB. I mean, that's the only way to put it, I would assume.
Yep, AI print tracking. So unique mechanism is AI print tracking. So this is his differentiation mechanism, right? Like, this is why, to answer what Charles was saying, this is why people have bought this product in droves, right? Like, people have flocked to this because there's true differentiation through the core sales message. AI print tracking, right? We not only do we have an idea of what that is as marketers when we sort of like consume that for the first time, but that's why, for example, someone like Charles maybe, or another marketer or whatever, might be like, oh, well, he's saying the same thing as everyone else, make more money from ads, but it's uniquely differentiated, which gives hope, right? It gives hope around this offer that it can solve the problem that everyone else is claiming to solve, but maybe only this product or solution can solve. So what else, like, what else would you say, like, what specifically is the core sales message to anyone else who, because there's a few of them here, so it's not just scale your ads, make more money. What else is layered in here with the core sales message?
Simplicity of it.
In what way in particular would you say?
It's just easy to use. It's so simple, you know, everybody's doing it.
Everybody is doing it. A couple other things that I would call out are kind of going back to what you guys originally mentioned, which is increase ad ROI or you don't pay. So like that is the core sales message. The core sales message is X product, AI print tracking, increases ad ROI or you don't pay. So what kind, I'm going to kind of jump ahead here. What kind of core sales message is that? So if we look at the type of hook that is used and the lead into this product, what type of hook is that?
I mean, it sounds like he's saying, hey, this is risk-free money with a money back guarantee. Just take it. It's gonna work.
Which would be which one of these five? Or
I mean, so he uses the promise. If you want to put it in your buckets, the promise. But
Yep.
he also does the secret because he holds up the stupid little USB thing, which I don't like this guy anyhow. I'll stop.
A lot of people don't, and that's okay. But
It works though. I'm not gonna knock that.
yep, 100%. All right, so promise and secret, that's the type of hook that we're using here. Now, I would also throw in that we're actually have an element of the offer in here as well, right? So we've got AI print tracking, we've got increase ad profit by X%, and we've got the unique mechanism of secret is kind of baked into this AI print tracking unique mechanism of like, what is it, right? So naturally, you have to solve your own curiosity to freaking just find out what this thing is, right? And so he uses the same sort of formula and framework for his headlines as well. You know, because the headline, one of the headline reads, this data plus AI gets sales from, or what does it say? Get sales from ads 52% cheaper. So it's just a different spin on that same exact core sales message through offer, promise, and secret sort of orientation. Is everybody sort of seeing that, how that is deconstructed and broken down? A couple of head nods would be helpful. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So now to take this one step further, a lot of you guys have consumed what message-driven targeting means. What level of awareness would you say that this offer targets?
Solution aware.
Solution aware, that was Sam Bell, right?
Yeah.
Definitely would agree with you there. Who I would suggest that there's probably one more awareness level that this targets. So who wants to weigh in with their view or their opinion or what they think? Paul,
Like it.
Joe,
Product aware, because he's not. He. I don't see iOS 14 anywhere. on these ads. I mean, maybe it is, but I don't see it.
So product aware in the sense that they already know that there's solutions out there for fixing this thing, correct?
Right, because they're not talking about the problem of iOS is breaking everything in your entire life. It's, you know, he's getting closer to that, to where, hey, this is the thing, and other people have things, but this is the best thing.
100%. So when we go back to frameworks of an entirety, you know, imagine in the beginning, let's say that you go launch an ad campaign, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, doesn't matter. And you write some random ad copy, or you get some random ad copy from client, or you get some random ad copy from copywriter. If we're not intentionally thinking, how do we target a solution aware audience with offer and promise driven copy? How high of a converting offer are we going to have with our campaign? Like the short answer is like, it's gonna convert like shit. And so that's why, like, I want to train us together and look at these things together through frameworks, because the next time that we go launch a cold traffic campaign, we should stop and ask ourselves, what level of awareness am I targeting? I do not need niche level targeting in Facebook or TikTok to be successful on the ad platform, right? Like I can have a broad ad set, but if my messaging is specific to the correct level of awareness, AKA message driven targeting, and I do that by deconstructing what my core sales message is, which we just touched on, and I write my hooks and headlines through these frameworks that are best intended for cold traffic, AKA offer, promise, and problem solution angles, my chances of success are significantly higher than targeting product unaware audiences through my messaging and writing the copy in such an indirect way that doesn't even create intent through my offer, through my funnel, and then I just spin my wheels on the offer never converting. And so from your guys' perspective, would you say that this core sales message is direct or indirect?
It's direct.
Paul says it's direct. Does anyone agree with him or disagree with him?
I agree.
I agree, it's direct.
Agree. Well done. I would say that you are spot on. And so what I want to show you guys is that when we're targeting cold traffic, there's really a framework that we want to continue to repeat. And so we want to start first by thinking, what level of message driven targeting awareness do I want to go after? Sam says solution, right? Totally agree. The next thing that I want to think is, what style of messaging do I want to use? Direct messaging. Direct messaging then encompasses these three types of hooks. So offer, promise, or problem solution. So now, let me just fix this. Fix this real quick. Whoops. So now when I'm thinking, where do I start? I'm starting solution aware. I don't even want to market to completely unaware or problem aware people. The likelihood of converting, like, could you imagine if Becker tried to explain print AI to just some random marketer, right? Like if they don't run ads, they have no idea what the hell he's talking about. That person is like maybe they're problem aware because they're hearing about it in their industry or from their team or whatever, but they are mostly unaware. Like those offer and promise and secret driven hooks are not going to make any sense to them. So when we talk from like a framework perspective, it's okay, I want to target at a minimum solution aware individuals through the intent of my messaging. I want to use direct hooks, direct headlines, AKA offer, promise, and problem solution. And I want to obviously, simplify that so that I can recreate it time and time and time again. So the last thing that we didn't touch on was like, what kind of funnel would you guys say that this is? I know that we didn't really look at the landing page in depth just because of kind of where our conversation was taking us. But from a recognition perspective, what type of funnel, hopefully you guys can nail this. What type of funnel would you say that this is? You could kind of classify this in maybe one of two ways.
Closed lead gen funnel.
Lead gen funnel, I would say that's like 30,000 foot level. So what about drilling down into that a little bit deeper?
Booked call
Funnel.
funnel.
Yeah, call funnel.
Call funnel. And then I'd almost argue one layer deeper than that.
Ooh.
Book a demo.
So demo would be the offer,
Same thing.
like the initial offer, right, on the lander.
Mhm.
Hopefully I'm not teeing you up for failure here, but I think there's one more layer to think of Russell Brunson's like old school value ladder, right? So we've got at the beginning opt-in. So this is an opt-in funnel, right? So we're just simply trying to get contact info, right? And then it is framed through a book funnel or a booked call funnel, which is framed through lead gen, right? So eventually we'll get to a point where I'm still working on developing this training of which that I call acquisition offers built for paid traffic. And so like how to build the offer around the level of intent that you're trying to create. I think we could all agree that this funnel, this offer, this lander most likely converts somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to maybe as high as 20%. And so the intent is high. The amount of risk from the prospect is low because the only thing they're exchanging for their time is their email and maybe a booked call, right? They're not being sold anything directly through this funnel. They're not being sold anything directly through these ads. They're only being sold on the call, right? The curiosity is being built through the ads. The curiosity is being built through the message, through the lander, etc. And the initial conversion is just an opt-in, right? And then secondarily, it's then a booked call. So if we look at, going back to this lander, so if we click on get started, we're just going to be prompted for our information, which in this case is a type form. I've seen these convert really well, by the way. We use a type form for our high ticket offer. Converts at about like 22%. I think currently, I'd have to double check that. But in terms of the actual form itself. So straight opt-in, right? Like I click get started. And that's another thing that I would add into this offer is if we think of like offer psychology down into I kind of always try to relate it back to dating or relationships. So there's kind of like 4 or 5 key stages to a relationship. So you've got, let's go out for coffee. That's kind of like the lowest risk sort of thing that you could ask for when asking a significant other, out to potentially date you. Second thing would be, hey, let's go steady. Like let's date each other regularly. Third thing might be something like move in together or get engaged. So at each level, the level of intent and risk is almost increasing. Then you could say, let's get married, etc. Let's start a family, maybe 5th. And so when we think of our word choice around, hey, how do I just ask this prospect out for coffee? The 2 things that I test the most with offers, headlines and CTA copy. So get started is a very low risk ask for them to kind of initiate into this offer, right? If you said like, if this said buy Hirose now, this landing page would convert at like 0.5%, right? Like it's too steep of an ask. It's more like asking the prospect to get engaged, to marry you, etc. But yet get started is more in the realm of ask out for coffee. And I can actually see a framework in my mind that I do not have yet, where I could literally create for you guys a framework of CTA copy based on level of intent. So that's just an idea that I just had. But that's another thing that I would call out to you guys is this is a pretty low risk ask when we're talking about cold traffic. We're talking about like initiating a sales process. We're not asking for a big commitment. We're just asking them to get started. So that's what I would add along with lead gen funnel, booked call funnel, yes, but opt-in, and then the actual messaging geared around the opt-in for them to get started. So this actually works really well. We use this on multiple of our assets also.
Well, what
So-
I find interesting is like, even though it's product aware on the ads, like it's very specific niche. We know how savvy these people are, but with the language we're using, it's still, you still want to ask like, you know, this low level of commitment on their behalf. Say just get started, as opposed to like buy this now because we know you need it.
Yeah,
People are
exactly.
people still get like kind of like timid cat or rabbit, like you know, you can kind of lose them at any point. And then to expand upon your relationship analysis and be like, or analogy, be like, yo, listen, I know that I've got like every quality that you're looking for in a partner. So therefore, let's just get engaged right now. It's like, no, you still have to go through that courtship
Dating
process. Yeah, even though even if it's like, you know, a match, I think you get the metaphor on that. But yeah.
Totally. Yeah, good call out on your side with that as well. I think you know, as we can sort of start to see, you know, I think I'm big on psychology in general. I read a lot in like philosophy, personal growth, spirituality, things like that, to get an understanding of just human behavior for my own interest of self-awareness. And I think like two simple words like get started, while they are two simple words, to what Paul said, it initiates that process of courtship as a prospect or as a lead in the arena of, you know, even though they are solution aware, like Sam Bell said, even though they are maybe product aware, like you guys said as well, we still need to walk them through the journey of like coffee, let's start dating, let's get engaged. And then ultimately on that sales call, that's really when we're going to ask them to get engaged, right? Like they, at that point, they have more information to make that bigger commitment, which is probably going to be to try the product, etc. And the whole marketing message should be positioned to basically take down the walls. We've talked a little bit about vulnerability on these calls at times, but to strip down the walls of cognitive dissonance, which is the 10 objection framework that's in all of your dossiers. Like this entire core sales message should be used to strip down the objections so that curiosity is there, so that they're willing to go out for coffee. So I really enjoyed this one. I got a lot out of it. I loved actually hearing your guys' different takes on this offer, on the sales message, to further my understanding as well around these different frameworks, these different areas that can be repeated. Does anybody have any random questions, closing thoughts, any additional insights that they want to add around what we went through and broke down today? Nothing in particular. What about like from a perspective of like, can you see how this can be repeated? Like, can you see how we can repeat this for different offers and different verticals and things like that? Would anyone agree or disagree with that?
I mean, yes and no. So I mentioned before that most people who see that ad, or at least who know what he's talking about in the ad, recognize Becker.
Yeah.
And like everybody will recognize Tony Robbins on the landing page.
Yeah.
So he has, you know, a ton of social proof, like not just social proof, like celebrity. Like he's a niche celebrity, and Tony Robbins is an actual celebrity. So any way to do that, like to leverage that, however you can in your space.
Yep.
That's
Totally.
huge. Yeah.
Totally.
To as much as possible.
Yeah, I think to back you up there and what you're saying, like One of the next offers that we're going to break down together is the Cole Gordon offer around his our setters perform or you don't pay. They've gone to 30 million a year in about like 18 to 24 months. You know, before Cole was big, even a year ago, he didn't have as much credibility as what they have now. But 100% agree with you. Like credibility is a huge piece to this whole offer. And so when we think about the 10 objection framework, when we're creating offers, when we're writing copy, when we're developing ads, how do I know this is real is one of the 10 questions in the 10 objection framework. And so if that question is answered through these ads. And so to Joe, to your point, while maybe, you know, not everybody has, or product or brand or whatever has the credibility that Becker has, or that maybe Cole Gordon has, but in their own way, they have to stack the odds in their favor around social proof, around credibility, because it is one of the 10 questions that people will ask. And so the reason that this is a winning offer is it answers the 10 objections, right? And it answers all of them in detail. And even if some of them get answered in a really poor way, it makes an attempt to answer the 10 objections. And that's what makes this a winning offer, right? And so maybe one of the next goes around, we'll pick a completely different offer that nobody knows anything about. Like, I know that you have a lot of interest in like fashion apparel, because we were talking about that last week. Let's break down a fashion and apparel offer, which like doesn't have like a Tony Robbins on its side, but what type of social proof, what type of credibility does that product have? That is basically allowing it to, you know, convert so well. So yeah, would totally back you up there, but I think there's ways that it can be spun, you know, so that it doesn't have to be something that we're missing as a part of, you know, the formula, you know?
Yeah, and that's like on media buying side, the paid traffic side, it's like, it's great when your clients are featured in whatever publication, you know, you always use that, but it's not immediately in your control. It's more like a lead gen thing. You know, if you get in with bigger brands, they'll have that media coverage already, or they'll be getting it. But you don't always have it. And it's usually like, you know, as seen in Fast Company or something.
But I think that's an aspect where like everybody can push for that in a variety of ways, right? Like, hey, whether we're advising a client or whether we're internal, what do we need to do in order to stack credibility in our favor for our campaign? So it might be going to the client and be like, yo, client, I need you to do a deal with Forbes and TechCrunch and Money Mag or whatever, so that I can solve this problem that I have with the 10 objection framework. And for internal brands, it might be like, oh, I need to get in Men's Health or Women's Health magazine, or, you know, whatever it is, in order to solve that question in the 10 objection framework of how do I know this is real? And so that's how I would say is like, then just push for it, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect our ad campaigns, right? Like, I would rather go to battle with all the tools in my tool belt than go to battle with like one arm and a like little rinky dink knife, right? And then I'm getting a 1% conversion rate. And then it's like, okay, how do I increase the conversion of my offer? Which then, as we all know, great offers make ads easy. So like, it is also part of our responsibility as ad runners to stack the odds of the offer in our favor as well. And I would say that would be like my closing thought for today is, as ad runners, because we typically are looking at this through an ad runner sort of angle, is how do we just stack those odds in our favor, so that our ads it's just easier to run our ads. Like, yo, I would love to get my hands on Becker's ads. Like, that shit would be so easy. It'd be so easy to run them, because he's already taken into account all of the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Well, it just shows like over time, like as you get that, you work far harder for your first sale in a simplified way to get that, because you had to come from somewhere. Like Alex Becker wasn't born the Alex Becker that we know. Same with Hirose, same with Robbins. It's like, it's that positive feedback loop that even though, you know, once, you know, you work hard, you get that extra social proof more and more known, and then you can make an ad that just slays. But you're still going to follow on that same framework. It's not like, well, just because I'm now Tony Robbins, I can just say, hey, this is Tony Robbins, buy this course, bye bye, I'll see you there. But yeah, it's like, but that is like it makes it nice when you've got that brand recognition, and it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, because then when you don't, you're like, why is it was so easy that last time? Oh, well, because I had all the social proof. I don't know. But yeah, you just got to work harder, and that's kind of where you come in as like how you're screening in a client or deciding whether to work with them.
Is because, you know, not every situation that we get ourselves in is always going to be perfect, right? But this is what I would add to what you're saying as well, is instead of focusing on how do I make my ads work, complete paradigm shift towards how do I make sure that this is an irresistible offer? Because we all know ads are easy when the offer is irresistible. So what I'm suggesting is, like, if you focus on the messaging, and this is what my whole spiel has been about, like the whole entire time, focus on the message. Great message equals makes ads easy. Like, it's that simple, right? So if we focus on the offer, irresistible offer, through this lens of core sales message, 10 objection framework, etc., running our ads is freaking easy, right? But we focus so much on like trying to hack our way to high ROAS or low CPA, when in reality, like, the messaging is the differentiator, which is why today we looked at it through a different lens of the messaging. Because if we cover those buckets, like we looked at on, like, right here, okay, what is the offer? What is the core sales message? What type of lead am I using into this sales message? What level of awareness am I using? Cool, like, I'm literally 80% of the way there, right? Then if I answer the 10 objection framework, I'm literally 99% of the way there. And then ads are easy. Like, just literally running the ads is easy because all of it comes through this part, you know? So that would be what I would add on to that today. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, definitely feel free to, you know, fire those over in Slack. Once the recording saves, I'll share it with everybody as well. Don't forget to use those looms. So if you're struggling with messaging on an offer, if you want Paul or myself to analyze your funnel, to give you feedback like this, like we went through today, use the Loom channel. Let's break those offers down through frameworks. Let's break those creatives down through frameworks. Let's break those funnels down through those frameworks, because I want you guys spending 10K a day or more on those ads, because your success is paramount to the group. Obviously, you know, want everybody to thrive. So use that Loom channel, get that insight on your offer, on your creative, what you're testing, etc. And would love to help you with that. So that's all I got for today, unless anybody has any other final thoughts.
Quick question. I just recorded Loom, drop it in that channel.
Yep.
Okay, great. I have a new account that's good on Google, terrible on Facebook. So I will get something in there on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Use it as much as you guys want. Like, that's what it's there for. That's, you know, that's what's part of your guys' memberships and everything, is like, get actionable insights for your campaigns. So yeah, thank you, Joe, and everybody. Go ahead, Paul.
I was gonna say, I wrote that message for a Loom request yesterday, and I'm realizing from what I think Cameron posted and then what Joe just said, I was like, where my offer of, hey, the offer is send us Looms, where I lacked was not a clear way of, one of the objections, I think it's in the 10, or it's from 10 or 16 word sales letter, of how do I get started? I didn't clearly answer that when I wrote it. And that's why there's a little bit of vagueness around it. What do I do? I'm like, I didn't answer that. So you'll see in a week, I'm gonna put another similar message out there on Loom requests, and hopefully it just gets a flood of them. I'm gonna use the same framework. Like, dude, how do I get more people responding to this? Anyway, thought I'd share.
Yeah, that's actually a fun little example, because we can use that in any situation, whether it's social posts, whether it's you know, because that's basically an offer, right? Like Joe or you know, Paul's throwing out an offer to basically help you guys. And so like, good on you. Great example of like, how can I make my offer more compelling? So yeah, good stuff. Yeah, like I said, feel free to use that. If anybody who listens to the recording is not in the Loom channel, let us know, give us a heads up. I do know that some people are not in the Loom channel just because we've been adding so many members. It has been a little tough to get everybody in there. I'll catch you guys next week, catch you on Slack. If you have any questions, fire them over in Slack and we'll catch you soon.
Take it easy, everyone.
Take care, y'all.
See ya.